So today on Miles from Main Street,
I thought somebody died.
I did too.
Drank too many bottles of rum. Yo ho.
They were fighting it tooth and nail. I was pretty sure they were all pissed off at us about it.
Character Palooza?
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados de las
This here's
puertas.
a wild ride in the
We got the gang all together again. We've got Tammy and Brian and Mikhailo and Kristen.
I think it's officially official that we're all just one great big team and everything, right?
You might say that we're one big happy family.
You could say that.
You could say you could literally say that. Yeah.
You just made Tammy sing.
I got all my sisters in me.
Louder and into the microphone, Tammy.
No.
Well, we are gathered here today on this joyous day of days to talk about Epcot, which, I mean, to be fair, is kind of like my church. So using that kind of terminology is fair.
I thought somebody died.
I did too.
You didn't think wedding?
No.
It's interesting how your mind
It was
went.
your tone.
It was the tone.
Really? I was thinking wedding, kind of.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe it's because I'm so old now. I go to funerals
Who's
before
next?
wedding.
What's next? Anyways, we're here to talk about our experience together at Epcot because we were able to spend an entire day at Epcot together. And we did all of this stuff and had a lot of fun, ate a lot of food, and we're here to tell you guys all about it.
If I can remember.
It's been a month.
There's that old age.
Yeah.
Before we go too far, though, let's remind everyone to please go out and share the show so that you can get a few more people listening and having a good time with us. It'd be greatly appreciated.
Like, share, and subscribe.
All right, so we went to Epcot. You guys got up and were on the ball at 7 a.m., getting us a Guardians virtual queue spot. And then you also bought us a lightning lane, which was awesome. So we hit the Skyliner, and I think we had the girls running because they took a little bit longer.
Yeah. Brian and I definitely were in the line, and Kristen and Tammy were running to we were almost to like the front of the line.
Oh yeah, I had to run back because I forgot my sunglasses.
Yes, you did.
I was
yeah.
literally running.
It was a runny morning. We were kind of like moving around pretty quick there.
I think it's important to point out, though, that we were staying at Pop Century, and the line looked extremely long for the Skyliner when we walked up. It was wrapped around down they have like a running path around that lake. So it was wrapped down that running path, and we got in the line while you guys were still coming, thinking we had plenty of time if we were just in the line, but it really didn't go that slowly. It was moving along pretty quick. So just because it's that long doesn't mean it's going to take a long time. It got to a point that I didn't think we were going to have you guys with us when we got on that Skyliner. So
You would have left without us?
no, I was prepared to say, you guys go ahead.
I was definitely feeling the same, that we were going to have to say like, oh, our whole party's not here yet, so we were going to have to chill at like the very front of the line. But no, it worked out.
You ran fast enough, Kristen.
I don't know. I was not expecting the line to be that long.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it makes sense though, since it's like joining from Art of Animation and Pop Century. But it also moved quickly, so
Yeah, it did move really fast.
And we
It
were
did.
also we were also there on a weekend, because I feel like the next day that we had gone, we'd used the Skyliner. Maybe we were later in the morning. It
Yeah.
didn't seem quite as.
That's something you have to remember is, and this is something that I feel like I think of all the time, is that people are getting more Disney literate. So they understand that, yeah, you have to wake up early. You have to get to the parks early. So everyone's doing it now. So right around those times of like 30 minutes before park open, or even like 45 minutes, like that's when everybody's making their way to the parks. So that's when things are going to be a lot more congested. And then like right after that, things clear up a little bit. And then around noonish is what, like when the late risers, or kind of like more like around 11ish, when the late risers get up and get going, that's when things start to get more congested again. But again, people are getting way more Disney literate than they have been before. So I mean, people understand that, yeah, you have to wake up early to get to the parks.
I was concerned coming into the hub, I guess, at the transfer station for the Skyliner, that it was going to be crazy there, but there was like nobody in line for Epcot when we got to that point, so that was nice. It was just from, I don't know if it spread everybody out enough when we got on the Skyliner at our destination, or at our launching point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was expecting a line when we got there too, but that Skyliner really clips along well. So we went in for rope drop, and we went right from the International Gateway to Remy's. We had early entry. I think the wait was posted 45. I don't know that it took that long.
No,
We definitely kind of like just strolled through.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's definitely the longest I've waited for Remy's, and it was the first time that I've ever waited outside for Remy's. I think like I've never waited in that, like.
I think we only like waited, and I'm doing Kylo's air quotes, because like so many people were like at the rope drop and had to start filing through.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we were basically just filing in, but that's where we started, was kind of like the outdoor queue area. And then we filed in, and I think I've been through, actually I don't think I have ever really been through that main queue before. And that queue actually is very cool. I like that queue a lot, where like you can kind of see some of the set pieces, and it's kind of set up as Ratatouille. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Obviously we had never been on it before, so yeah, I remember it going pretty fast, because like I had tried to stop to take a video of like the Gusto sign talking, and like I wasn't able to because we moved through that so fast.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it moved pretty quick. I didn't feel like we were standing around much at all, so that was a good choice to hit that first. We then grabbed some coffee
and crepes.
And crepes,
Yeah.
yep.
Oh, the
Mhm.
crepes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was thinking about the crepes. Like, is that something that you would want to get right away again like that? Like, is that something that's on your list to get?
100%.
Yeah, it's funny. We were just talking about this like right before the podcast, about how we would definitely do those crepes again.
The butter.
Was that
Yeah.
the first time
Yep.
you guys had them?
And the thing is
Okay.
with Epcot, like if you're going for like the festivals, which like the majority of the year it's festival time at Epcot, the booths don't open until 11. So like you have 2 hours or more if you haven't eaten breakfast before you get into the parks, before you can eat like festival foods.
Mhm.
So if that's what you're looking for, like you're going to have to wait a little bit or find something to tie you over in the meantime.
Just like I think I might have went to the restroom or something, but I wasn't in line with you guys when you bought them, so I don't know how much they were, but they were definitely shareable too. Like I think if we got 2 of them, that would probably be enough for like our family.
Enough to get you
Yeah.
started.
Yeah,
and
like
have a
bite,
Ready
yeah.
for something again.
Although I
Yeah.
would gladly eat a whole one of those butter sugar crepes by myself.
I think we got 2 just to try the Ratatouille one and the butter one.
A little sweet and savory.
And I think, yeah, Kristen kind of decided that the sweet one was hers and that the savory one was mine, which I was totally cool with. And in just eating that within itself was kind of filling. So I feel like just like having two and like splitting it through with a family is like a good like first like little bite to eat for everybody. Yeah.
Good starter. Yeah. We also got the ratatouille galette, not a crepe, that I thought was good. And I think that was the one I ended up eating, didn't
Mostly, yeah. I had some of it.
I
then we
screwed
got
up
a
and got the
berry.
I screwed up and got the berry.
I
was
would have
supposed-
rather had the cinnamon one, but yeah, that's okay. Next time.
I thought I was supposed to get the Nutella one.
Oh, I forgot there was a Nutella one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have got that one.
But the berry one was good.
It was, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so we stopped and got some specialty Joffrey drinks. I can't remember what those
Horchata.
were now.
I
Yeah.
got the horchata. Yeah.
Would you?
I got
Did you
something
get-
else though.
Didn't you get one? I think you got the horchata.
I think you
thought-
got the
yeah, I thought
horchata
I
too.
got the
didn't you?
horchata.
Huh.
I got another one they had. I don't remember what it was though.
I liked it. I know, Kristen, you didn't
It
like
it
it.
tasted like rum. I swore that there was alcohol in that drink.
Oh, that's what you
That's
kept
right, I
saying.
remember
Yeah.
that conversation.
Couldn't do it. Drank too many bottles of rum. Yo ho.
You a pirate?
I remember walking out of the World Showcase and it kind of being dead. Like there wasn't a whole lot of people around. And they're probably all waiting in line somewhere. But where did we head
Yeah.
next? Because we didn't go straight to Guardians, did we?
Did we do Figment then with his sweater? Or did we go do Soren first?
Oh, I actually think we did go and do Soren first. Yeah.
I think we did too.
Okay.
And that's typically a good one to just kind of like, because that one will get a long wait. And so if you're in the park and you see that it's like a decent, like it's not like a super long wait, it's typically good to like just check that off the list.
So the thing I liked about Soren was it was Soren over California, which we had never seen before.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Julia listens to this or not, but my cousin's dad, who passed away, was a doctor and a huge Disney fan, and they would go and the scene where you're going over the golf course, he would pretend like he was catching the golf ball, and he would always have a golf ball in his hand, and he would hand it to whoever was sitting next to him.
Oh my God.
So that was like really cool for me to actually see that, because I have heard that story going around in my family like forever.
That is so genius. Oh my God, that's awesome.
So
Yeah.
bring a golf ball next time.
Yeah, that side of the family is huge Disney fans. Julia actually works for Disney. She's
Oh,
my
cool.
cousin that works at Disney.
I
So
feel like they're gonna change back soon.
If they haven't already. Yeah.
The first time that we saw it back in October, I was not like super impressed, because when we went to Disneyland earlier in the year, obviously we saw Soarin' Over the World, which we've seen.
Mhm.
But we were like on the outside, like on the bottom. And then this last time we were like B1 or whatever, the prime spot to be in. And it was pretty cool to see. And I feel like we got like better like smells and stuff too.
Mhm.
Like the scents were better.
I have a hot take though. I think Soarin' Around the World is better than Soarin' Over California.
I agree.
I've heard it go both ways. I like California only because you don't get the curve of the screen. And you've got Michael Eisner in there, which it was nice of Kristen to point that out as we went
Because
flying over
Kylo
him.
always has to point it out to me. Well, the one time, I guess, because we went in October, he pointed it out to me. So I just passed it along.
Did you not know that, Brian?
Once she said it, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's right. I forgot. I actually yelled at her. Like, I forgot about that.
I think I did it like the Michael Eisner, like Michael Scott. It was fun.
Yeah, so then I think we went to Connections Cafe and then to Figment. Or maybe the
no,
other
we
way
had
around.
we had an early boarding group for Guardians.
Oh
so
yeah,
I
because
think-
when we went to Connections Cafe, you guys had gotten that Starbucks water. And we got the cookies to start the cookie stroll.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And maybe we saw Jameters like before or after, like
So we got the cookie and the
Mhm.
water at Connections, Starbucks, whatever. Walked out because you guys were already
Yeah.
at Jameters, and I came up and looked at you right away
Yep,
and said,
yep.
"No, Jason." And so yeah, we watched them, and then I want to say we headed from there right into the World Showcase. So I think that was right after Guardians.
Possibly, yeah. But anyways, let's talk about your first ride on Guardians.
Yeah, Guardians. I was actually thinking about this. I think I woke up thinking about this morning. Like, we have to do it twice. We have to virtual queue
Lightning
and
lane?
That's what
lightning
we've
lane
been
it
doing.
because
I'm tempted to book Epcot for our park day almost every day just to get the virtual queue or just to go ride it once a day. I would ride it every day.
It's pretty great.
it was incredible.
This time we're gonna have two people that don't want to ride it.
And they can
We'll
wait.
have to, right.
I
Have to find
still,
somewhere for them to go.
I'd like to try to get Mia on there.
We'll get Mia on there.
Yeah, we'll do it.
It's not any different than Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yes, it is. She's
What's
gonna
different?
feel like she's falling forward, like at the one part where you go around
The planet.
yeah. She's not gonna like that. That's what she doesn't like, is the feeling of falling.
Yeah, but we don't need to tell her that part's coming.
Oh,
As the person who had to sit right next to her as she screamed bloody murder on what is it called there? Cosmic Rewind? Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really want to sit next to her on this.
Mission Breakout
Okay.
at DCA. Yeah, I don't know. I still want to try it. Sometimes she likes them,
tune in
sometimes she
later
doesn't.
to see if we got Mia on Guardians of the Galaxy.
Tune in later to see if a little girl is scarred for life.
Oh, she's already is
Oh,
scarred.
so if
We
she's already
already did
scarred,
that.
just
Yeah.
throw her on. Just okay, here's
Yeah.
another one. Here we go.
Yeah.
I mean,
We ruined her when she was
she
3.5.
was so pissed at me on that ride because I was like, "That's it, we're not dropping anymore. The drops are all over." And then we dropped again. You lied to
Was it like
me!
Tower of Terror?
Yes.
A 3.5-year-old can
But,
ride
oh,
Tower
this
of
is-
Terror?
No. So this was Mission Breakout at
Oh,
Oh.
yes.
California
Sorry.
Adventure last year.
Yeah.
And yeah, she wasn't going to ride. We told her she didn't have to ride, but she had to go through the line with us because we didn't want to just leave her sitting somewhere. And we said, when we get to the front or whatever, you can go to the exit. They'll have a place for you to go, and we'll meet you there after the ride. And we get there, and the whole time she's like, "This is it. This is where I have to get out." No, there is a spot. Don't worry about it. And then there was another mom in the line. She's like, "It's okay, honey. I've done it before. You don't have to. You're just gonna have to go a little further, and then they'll take you out." And by the time we got to the front, she's like, "Okay, fine. I'll just ride it." And she flipped out the entire time.
Mm-hmm. That was fun. Anyway, okay, that was a different trip. Figment in his sweater.
No, I mean,
No, Guardians was. I'm kidding. Guardians was amazing. I would ride that a bunch of times
So
too. Like,
I have a question. Did it make you guys feel sick?
No.
So
no, not at all.
the first time we rode it, I felt a little sick after the first time riding it, but it was so cool that I was like, this is fine. And I took Dramamine and everything. And then the next trip I took the Dramamine again. Now I'm not taking the Dramamine and I'm perfectly fine on it. So I don't know if it's and I'm that same way with Rock and Roller Coaster. I can ride Rock and Roller Coaster whenever and just feel totally fine. And I think it's just that my body knows that roller coaster or something. So I think that's kind of where we're at now.
Well, also remember when we were at dinner at California Grill, that couple was talking about that
Yes.
that scientist or whatever that studied like the video screens on the ride specifically. So I don't know if they had changed something,
I'm almost thinking that
or-
they did change something because
or if like you just like know where to look and like
yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, that's true. We did meet somebody at dinner who was talking about how they were studying people getting sick on Guardians. And that they had definitely changed some things about Guardians to make people less sick, and now it's like we don't even feel it anymore when we go on Guardians.
The wild thing is like great when you are in the queue, like you're going up a ramp and like you like get up to get on the ride, and then when you get off, like you have to go up again the stairs and then go down, which sometimes I feel like I'm still like a little woozy, like I don't know, and like all the
Mhm.
buckets or the trash cans that they have just in case for people, like
Yeah.
if they get sick, and like I feel like sometimes the ride goes down because someone gets sick on the ride and then they
Mhm.
have to clean it. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely, I don't know again if they've like actually done something or if we've just gotten used to the ride so much, but I could ride that ride every day.
Yeah.
It would be that would be awesome.
So when you guys go next, you can virtual queue, lightning lane, and then a second virtual queue.
Yeah, because we would qualify for the 6 p.m. one. So I think,
You sure
yeah,
would?
I'm thinking we could do 3 times that day.
Oh boy.
Wow.
And
Maybe you'll get all the songs.
all 6 songs and 3 rides.
Well, we wrote it twice already and gotten 2 different songs.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
And
It's funny because the next day or whatever day that Kylo and I went back to Epcot after you guys left, we got the same 2 songs.
yes, we did.
So I don't remember what songs we got, but I do know that the first time was just like so awesome that I didn't care what the song was. It was just like,
Mhm.
I think right at the end I was rocking out to it a little bit. But
Mhm.
then the second time the song was a better one, which I can't remember now. But
I think we got Iran
Yep.
and maybe Disco Inferno.
Oh
sound right?
yeah, Disco Inferno. I think
I don't feel
that
like
seems
that's what it
familiar.
was. I don't know. But I remember I was rocking out to that a little more, and it seemed to make the experience a little better, or
Mhm.
maybe it's just because it was a second time. I don't know. But
I have to say the time that we got September, now the one time, the only time that we've got September,
I
That
thought
was-
we've gotten it twice.
really?
I don't know. I
I
think we
think-
got it when we went for like our honeymoon trip. I think that was the first time.
Oh, probably. But yeah, I remember getting September for the first time, and that was like we were going nuts over that. Like we were excited about that. So it was cool to have like things like that happen.
I just liked it the same both times. I don't think the song makes a difference to me, I guess. I don't know.
and that's okay.
And maybe I'm weird like that, but
You are weird,
I
but
know.
we still love you. Yeah, so that was like super intense. I loved it. I'm so glad that you guys pushed for that to happen. Not
Mhm.
not that we fought it or anything, but
They were fighting it tooth and
Oh,
nail.
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
pretty sure they were all pissed off at us about it.
They were like, we need to get off on the exit before we get on the ride.
And we were just like, no, just go on the ride anyway.
There's no twist. There's no drops. You're not going to fall.
that when it does circle that planet those 2 times, like it is kind of intense. Like
That's the part she's not going to like.
She's going to love it. You just wait.
It could be. I thought she would hate Rock and Roller Coaster, and it was her favorite ride the last time we went. So.
Yeah, I agree. Is it time to talk about food?
I think it's time to talk about
All
food.
We stopped at Noche Buena Cocina, I believe, first, which is where we got a spicy chocolate cookie for the cookie stroll.
Mhm.
Mm.
What else did we get there? The tamale?
The tamale, yeah. That was my favorite cookie.
Yes, mine too.
The spicy
Yes.
chocolate?
Yep.
Hmm.
Although I do have to say, I was overall was not impressed with the cookie stroll cookies. Like, they were all just okay, I thought.
I mean, so I kind of agree, and the one that we were most excited about was the Snickerdoodle, and I think
It was my least favorite one.
yeah, and it's funny because I think they basically what they did was they just topped like a regular cookie as a Snicker and then called it a Snickerdoodle, which like okay, but like Snickerdoodle cookies are good and they're like a Christmas type cookie, so it's interesting that they chose to do that and not just make a Snickerdoodle cookie like a traditional Snickerdoodle.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought they were all kind of dry and didn't have a ton of flavor to them. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do have to say at that same booth though that you get the Snickerdoodle cookie, I got my favorite drink at Epcot, which was the Fire Nog, which tasted the way that Christmas smells. That's like it's like everything that I liked about Disney, which is or about Christmas, which is like eggnog. I love eggnog, and then I also love like how everything smells spicy and cinnamony. Like that's what was happening in that drink, and it like literally it tasted the way Christmas smells, and I loved it, and I liked it a lot. I will get it again if they have it again.
Was that basically like Fireball and eggnog?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I did like it. I appreciate you letting me take a sip. I'm trying to remember what else we did. The tamale was good. Oh, the giant tostada. That was good
Yeah,
too.
but we gotta get to Mexico.
And
here.
everybody, yeah, the Mexico stuff that we had, I feel like was all really good, and everybody was speaking very very highly of that.
I did enjoy that. I can't remember what the other thing was that we got with. So I know we got the tamale, and I think we got everything at Noche Buena with you guys, and we split it. I think the tamale was better, if I remember right.
There was a tamale pernil, which was pork, and then the cookie we got at Noche Buena.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I do remember the tamale being better also, which I think in my head initially, like I thought I would like the first one better, and I'd liked the picture better, but it was opposite.
I know that, like, I was like, I'm just getting the tamale, and you're like, we have to get the pernil. And so I could tell that you were excited for that one. So that's too bad that it wasn't as good as you had hoped.
It was still fun to try everything.
Yeah.
Though.
Well, and that was kind of the problem, is that there was so much to try and so much we wanted to eat, and we had Garden Grill later. It was hard to stop.
It was nice that
Yeah, it
we
definitely was.
shared everything though, because that made it. At least we were able to try a little more that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I think we would have had even less otherwise.
We did get the bread bowl full of cheese,
Oh yeah.
which I thought was awesome.
Oh, from Germany. Well, after Mexico, we stopped. Is that when we stopped and saw the Barn Santa, or did we come back to that?
No, we stopped for Barn Santa, and then, which was good. And I had hoped to do more of those Santas, but I don't know what happened. We ran out of time, I guess.
Well, honestly, I have to say, Barn Santa and the Witch, which I don't think we ever actually stopped and watched the Witch. I think we've walked by the Witch a couple times. But I think Barn Santa was honestly the best one.
Yeah.
Because we stopped and saw the Santa out in England, which is basically just Santa. And then we saw the French Christmas stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw a little bit with you guys of the Witch in Italy, and I the Barn Santa just like stole the show. Like that was the best one.
I think it was kind of hard to hit more of those because it was like one started at like 1:15 and the other one started at 1:30. So
you couldn't make it.
They weren't like
yeah.
It didn't seem quite staggered like enough, I guess,
Yeah.
unless if you had multiple days. to spend there, or like that's going to be your main focus, is like just like looking at the Christmas stories of the countries.
We did get the music in Germany though.
Yeah,
That was fun.
that was cool.
Oh yeah, when we were waiting for our
Yeah.
food. I thought that pretty much everything that we had in Germany was pretty good. The pork schnitzel with that spatzel, the mushroom sauce. Yeah, the cheese fondue, the Linzer cookie. The Linzer cookie I think was maybe my favorite,
Oh, really?
with the like jelly on the inside.
That was. I don't think I enjoyed that one all that much, but I don't think I ate too much of it. So
Mhm.
I prefer chocolate, so the chocolate cookie was what I enjoyed the most.
And I think on our way to Germany, Kylo stopped in China to get the beef and noodle bowl.
I did, yes.
What
yeah.
made you get that?
It was honestly, I think it was the best of the fest. Or I don't think it was the best of the fest, but it was on somebody's list, or it was on DFB's list. And just looking at what all was in it, I was like, this looks pretty good.
So what did you think? Was it worth it?
I think it was worth it because it was a big bowl. I feel like it was like a decent amount of like soup and stuff that they were giving you. It was like a decent size bowl.
If I remember right, like you were enjoying it as you were eating it.
Yes.
Yeah. It's hard though, because so the first day when we first arrived on our trip, we went to Epcot and it was freezing cold. That's
Yes.
when soup would have been good.
Yeah.
When we were all together, it was like mid 80s or something. And I remember we were sitting in Germany. We were sitting at an uncovered picnic table.
It
And I was
was
like,
hot,
oh,
yeah.
I'm getting a little warm here.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
as we're eating our hot cheese, and I
Mhm.
got the glue wine that was also hot. Just everything
I
was
thought
hot.
that wine was good though, even though it was like
Well, it's
hot.
like
I thought it
spice
was good.
wine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Christmas.
That was when we said, okay, this is it. We're going to stop eating now because we were going to Garden Grill.
Yeah.
And then
You got more stuff in America.
I did.
Oh yeah,
I
we
did.
America.
Which I'm actually glad we did that, because I stopped at the America booth and got, I think I was just supposed to get the beer
You got a
flight,
beer flight.
but
yeah.
then I grabbed the cookie because we needed one more cookie.
Yep.
And so the reason I'm happy that I did that is because we never were able to get another cookie after that. So then after dinner and we were heading back to get in line, that's when I grabbed our completer, and we
Mhm.
wouldn't have been able to do that otherwise.
I liked the
Mhm.
little shake thing you got. I thought that was better than the cookies.
I would agree.
Was it at the food booth?
It-
Oh, or like
the
the
completer shake or
Oh,
frozen
okay.
hot chocolate
Yeah.
or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I feel like we recently just ate our completer cookie a couple days ago, maybe like last week.
Oh, we did. Yeah.
And we still have a gingerbread cookie from the Grand Floridian, and we have one or two Christmas party cookies on our counter.
Yeah, we have two, and there were the two that were like at the bottom of my backpack or something. So they're like in
They're
pieces.
a little smush.
I was not a huge
eat
fan
'em.
of the gingerbread from the Grand Floridian.
No.
Well, we haven't eaten ours yet.
Mhm. We got a shingle, and it was like
Spongy.
spongy. I
It was
don't know.
weird.
The consistency was weird. I thought.
Yeah.
Did we get? I don't think we got a shingle.
No, you got like a marshmallow
Snowman,
stick.
right?
And well, it was just like a
Oh yeah, it was just
like
like
a
three
chocolate
marshmallows.
covered marshmallow
Yeah.
or something. And then I got an M&M snickerdoodle cookie, which that one was much better than the cookie stroll cookie, but it did get a little stale because that one I also waited like 2 or 3 weeks to eat.
And I was wondering, because don't people go nuts over these shingles because they're supposed to be the same type of shingles that they're making the gingerbread houses out of?
But the thing is, every resort has a different recipe.
Exactly. Yeah.
So each gingerbread will taste a little different.
Well,
so
now
they
I wish
say.
I would have gotten a gingerbread something at every place. I just figured it was all the
Well,
same.
No, yeah, it's the recipe that they use at each one, but I feel like people go nuts over these shingles. And I wonder if it's not so much that like they taste good, it's just that like that's what these gingerbread houses are
houses.
made out of. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I know that
We have to try our cookie.
I'm used to gingerbread either being hard
Mm-hmm.
or I know like the gingerbread man and the cookie stroll that people are saying was soft.
Mhm.
These were somewhere in between. Like
Oh.
it was
Yeah.
like I think spongy is the best way to put
Yep.
it. Like if you were to bite into a sponge, like it's kind of soft and then it gets harder in the middle. Like it's weird.
It was very weird.
Oh.
That's how sponges taste.
I can't say I've ever bitten into a sponge.
I've
But you
bitten
can
into soap.
imagine what it might be like.
I'd be curious if we go again to get like something else gingerbread from there to see if it has the same consistency to it or if it's just the shingles.
I can tell you that I had the Mickey shaped gingerbread
Oh, that's right.
and it was pretty much the same thing.
Oh, then I don't want any more.
Where did you get that from?
From Grand Flow. Same place.
Oh,
I had the peppermint bark. That was really good.
Yeah, that peppermint bark was really good. So now that we've gone on that tangent,
Right? Which has nothing to do with Epcot.
we did end up getting to do a character palooza, which was something I had
Oh,
always
yeah.
wanted to mark off my list.
Character palooza.
So we had gone with our beer flight into Regal Eagle and sat down in the air conditioning. And I think I went to throw something away or
Mhm.
refill water or something. And I looked out the window and I saw that there were a bunch of characters out there. So I'm like, there's a character palooza going on. And
did you even announce? You were like, "Come on, we gotta go see this. Come on, this is so rare."
I don't know that I did.
And I was like, "What?"
I mean, I was excited. I don't know that I was like that, but I was like, I came walking up and I said something, and I can't remember what something that you were waiting for me on or something. I said, there's a character palooza going on right now. Let's go. And I don't know. I feel like I got a weird look from you two and Tammy was like, oh, okay. And got up and we went.
I had no idea what.
I had no clue what you're
yeah.
talking about.
But the funny thing is, after we saw those characters, I saw people posting in like Facebook groups being like, "Oh, we got to meet all these characters at Epcot."
Mhm.
Yeah. So if you haven't heard of what a character palooza is in Epcot, next to where like Regal Eagle is, there's a alleyway that goes backstage, and in that alleyway, they will bring out basically characters in training. And they bring them out for a little bit and they get to meet with some people. And it's pretty low key for the
Mhm.
characters. And if you happen upon it, because they don't announce it, you don't know when it's going to be. It just kind of happens. But if you happen upon it, you can get pictures with them. You can meet them. And sometimes you get rare ones. We got to meet Mr. Smee.
Which isn't one you see super often.
Right. And Pluto.
Mm-hmm.
Chip and Dale.
Chippendale.
We didn't get to actually meet with them, but they liked your
We
ears,
walked
Chris.
past them, yeah.
I think it was your ears, Kristen.
Kristen
right?
had the Chippendale ears.
Yeah. So they were reacting to that. So, but yeah, that was fun. I was happy to
Mhm.
see that.
Yeah.
But then this is where we started heading up to the front.
We did Voices of Liberty.
Mhm.
Oh, how could I forget that?
How could you forget?
That was awesome. I was watching Ron today, and he went and saw the Voices of Liberty, and they were back to their Americana, whatever.
It's crazy because I was watching it too.
I wasn't.
No.
And nobody commented as Miles.
I barely even looked up at it. Like, I'm in crazy season right now, so I just had it on in the background. But listening to their American songs, I just kind of went, nah, I don't know that I need to go.
Yeah.
But listening to them sing those Christmas tunes,
Mm.
that was incredible to me. Like that was just it I loved it.
So we've only been in that area to do the American Adventure.
Yeah.
I think that was like our very first trip that we've done that, and we
That
always
was.
joke about going back in there because like it could be a nice break from the heat or to take a nap. But I was so confused as to why we got in there and like we're sitting on the floor initially. I was like, what, we sit? Like, don't we stand? And then we just sat there and listened to them sing their Christmas songs. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen videos and I've seen them in person before and just been like, like I've seen good singing before, obviously, from like the family that I'm in. If you know anything about the Naherniaks, we have good singers in our family, and I've experienced that. But and that's not taking away anything from what they normally do, like what their normal songs are. But having those Christmas songs made it so like Brian is totally right. Like the regular America songs, like I could pass on. But having them sing those Christmas songs was so much cooler. Like,
And their outfits.
and I wonder if it's something where it's like they could switch it up for all kinds of stuff. Like they could switch up the songs. Like they could sing. There's no such thing as like traditional Halloween songs, but like I don't know. But like they could be doing that more.
In the American Pavilion.
I put a spell on you.
Well, if you remember during
Oh,
like
man.
when after they reopened and they were still doing all the distancing, the Voices of Liberty performed on the America stage, the American Gardens Theater stage, and they just did whatever they wanted. It wasn't like their typical music that they would sing.
They were almost doing like covers of stuff, weren't they?
Beyonce.
Yeah. Beyonce?
Yeah. You said they were singing whatever they wanted.
Did they want to sing Beyonce?
I don't know.
They were singing.
She's
They were
from
singing
America.
Britney. I don't know. It was nice to hear them doing things other than the America songs. But yeah,
I think their traditional songs would be cool on like July 4th.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's the thing, is that they sing them all the time.
right. But so if you do ever go to see them, though, Kristen, you do sit on the floor to get under the rotunda so that you get the full effect of the acoustics. People like to sit on those benches, which is right on the edge. But then everyone kind of lines up behind them. Don't be, they're going to call everybody up to sit in front of them anyway. So you might as well get up there and have a seat on the marble floor. And it's not comfortable, but it's only a 15-minute
Your
show.
feet might fall asleep.
Yeah.
I could barely walk out of there.
No.
I really wish that they would allow collapsible stools. That would be so much better for people. So, yeah, I was really happy that we saw them sing. So, where did we go next?
Well, I know that like once we got to Garden Grill, Kristen, didn't you check us in? And it took them forever to actually get us a table.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we waited a long time for a table at Garden Grill.
Well, and that might have been partially my fault because like I know that we were excited to go and like see the views of Living with the Land because it's a great attraction. So I chose to have like a booth, and I think that also would have been like we would have had more space at the table. So that was like more of like the priority seating, I guess. And then the tables like in the back were like first, they'd sit you right away or whatever whenever one came available.
Well, I don't know that even that was the case because it was a hot mess at that check-in desk.
It was, yeah.
There were a lot of people hanging around and a lot of people that were not happy. And we noticed because we changed our reservation that they dropped a whole bunch of new reservations that morning.
Mm.
And so my feeling was that they were overbooked. And when
Yeah.
we walked up and we checked in like right at our time, my suggestion would be to get there early and check in as soon as they allow you to, which it might be 10 minutes early. I can't remember exactly now, but check in as soon as they allow you to. When it's a popular, we were doing the dining package, that's why we were doing that. When it's popular like that, I think you just have to plan ahead, get there early. We had the same thing happen to us back in 2016 when we did a Phantasmic package at Hollywood and Vine at the studios. It was 45 minutes that we ended up waiting for a table.
Wow. And I wonder if it would have been like that at the other like restaurants, like if they were just all crazy, because that was also, wasn't that the first day of John Stamos being there? And I think he just drew the crowds.
Yes,
in the park.
It was busy.
So I thought Garden Grill was good, but I don't ever need to go back there now. Like I don't know.
I felt a little rushed. But the food, it was okay.
Yeah.
Am I the weird one? I thought the food at Garden Grill was really good, and I enjoyed it a lot. And
coming from the person who likes to put like all the spices in their food, I feel like it was like, I mean, it's Disney food, like it's like plainer, like food that I like.
Yeah, it's there's something about when Disney makes that the steak with the chimichurri sauce. And it's honestly, sometimes it's hit or miss, because sometimes we'll go to Ohana and the chimichurri will be just a little too chimichurri, which means that because chimichurri is made out of cilantro. So it's like if you don't cook it for long enough, it still kind of has that like cilantro-y taste to it. But every so often they'll make that chimichurri sauce and it'll be just right, and I'll eat it and I'll be like, oh, this is so good. And that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about that meal.
And we had asked for more meat and the beans. I think, Kristen, you were liking the beans, I want to say.
Oh yeah, those green beans were good.
They were good. I was hoping to get more of those too, but then they never arrived. We just got more meat.
I think part of my problem was I wasn't very hungry.
We did get to walk around a little bit after we ate and take some pictures of living with the land from those views, which was cool. It was nice seeing the ride from a different view. The characters came around really quick, so fast that they were coming by that they actually stopped by the table twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's like any video that you watch on Garden Grill, like they're gonna say like, oh, you get so much character interaction. But yeah, I would agree. I feel like it was like rushed interaction though.
Yeah.
Like it didn't seem like super.
And I don't know like if you guys have done like a lot of character dinners or breakfasts, but we have, and like every other one we've done, we've gotten up and like taken a picture with the characters. And this one, like you just had to stay sitting. And part of that was where we were sitting, like especially you and I, because we had a stairwell like to our back, so it wasn't easy for us to get up to do a picture. But I think that's part of why I felt like it was rushed too, because when we did where was the last breakfast we just did in Disneyland?
Oh, the Plaza Inn.
We were getting like the kids were getting up, you were playing rock paper scissors. Like I've got a ton of pictures of them like doing different poses and stuff, and this was, they just stood behind us while we were sitting.
And they almost encouraged that, I felt like, from the characters. Like they would come up, say hello, walk behind right away, so you'd just quick get a picture, and then move on. Like they didn't really give you a chance to stand up.
Yeah.
I do remember, I feel like it must have been Chip, because, well, actually it could have been either, because I had my Chippendale ears on. but one of those characters was making very loud, like smoochy noises and like coming up to my cheeks and like giving me a kiss. And I was like, wow, like that is loud. The other thing that I would have to say, like having a little issue with motion sickness is that restaurant made me a little motion sick.
I would have to agree. It almost made me feel it was less so than Space 220, but it almost made me feel like Space 220.
Yeah, like if we were eating and like looking down at the table, it was fine. But the second that I would try to like look up or look at the floor to like see that we've moved, like that just got to me, and I was like, ugh.
However,
I didn't notice it, and I don't have motion problems, so that's probably why. But
You are lucky,
there
sir.
was a spot that it's almost like the turntable would catch on something, and you'd kind of feel a little bit of a rock, like it would like it wasn't extremely noticeable, but that's when you guys would say the most, like, "Oh, this is really good." Like that's when I would feel like it would almost like it would get caught on something first.
Huh.
And you know what's funny is I don't think I ever noticed that. Like maybe with the motion, I just feel the motion, and I don't feel like all of like the little intricacies of like what's happening. But it's interesting that you noticed that whenever that happened, we said things like,
Yeah.
"Oh my goodness!" But I had to say, and this may turn into just like a question that I pose the group in the future, or like a whole episode. Probably not a whole episode because we probably can't talk about it too long. But if I had to live in a scene from a ride, it would be the farm scene from Living with the Land.
I might have to shoot the dog after a while.
Nope, that dog can bark as long as it wants.
That is an interesting question.
Yeah. Let's
Right?
table that one.
Mhm.
We'll have
Yeah,
a good-
I'll get answers from everybody else, and we can do an episode on it. But it was something that I thought of, where it's like, and there's just something about Living with the Land that just kind of makes me feel, honestly, sometimes it almost puts me to sleep, but like it just makes me feel good. Like it makes me feel, I don't know. It's just
That good old edutainment.
It's the edutainment, and yeah, it's just great. So it's really cool with Garden Grill to kind of be like going through all of those different areas, like while you're eating and everything. And we were able to, once we got done, we got up, we did kind of like walk down over like where all of those scenes are, because it goes through several scenes, but we did get up and kind of like walk through all of that and like look at everything. So I thought that was cool.
I did enjoy doing that. And this is where we then left and we went to Living with the Land. And this is where Brian's anxiety started kicking in. And we get in line and it said 50-minute wait. It ended up being a 50-minute wait. And it had been down for a while prior to that, I believe.
Okay.
And that's why Lightning Lane was so crazy when we were in line, and it took us so long. But I started to piss off Kristen and said that I wasn't liking this idea, because here I go again, knowing what it takes to move my family through the park and knowing how close we're getting at that point to John Stamos and not wanting to be late for that. But as I said last time, and I'll say this time, you guys proved me wrong. And I appreciate that, because we did the full 50 minutes. We did the ride, and it was so enjoyable. So glad we got to see that.
Yeah, I highly recommend that ride at Christmas time. It was beautiful with all the lights, yeah, for sure.
It really makes the seeing it a new way and appreciating it a different way.
The wait times definitely go up more so once dusk comes around, though, because of the Christmas lights.
Exactly.
For Living with the Land. So like you could get on it during the day for like a 10-15 minute wait probably, but once it gets darker out, then gets a little busy.
And again, with people being more Disney literate, that ride is really cool at night, and that's when people start to show up. And I mean, it has to be people who know that ride has a Christmas overlay that's cool at night, because I assure you, people aren't like, oh, like Disney novices aren't just like Living with the Land. Yeah, let's go ride that, because when it's not that way, it's a walk on most of the time.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
it's Disney literate people knowing what they're doing, and that's what's putting the wait times up.
Or it was John Stamos.
Was John Stamos on Living with the Land? I
Maybe
mean, I
at
bet
one
he
point.
was at one point.
So we wrote it,
Mhm.
and we started heading over to get in line. And this is another time that I felt like I was herding cats, because we had to walk into the stores in the UK. And again, I was going, we're never going to make it. We're never going to make it. We're not going to make it. And we got to look around a little bit. Did we go back and take a look at Christopher Robin's room a little bit even? I think we did. No?
Wasn't
I
open.
think we peeked in,
It wasn't open anymore.
but
Right.
he wasn't.
Yeah.
Pooh wasn't there.
And then we started going for the line, and you guys wanted to stop and get something, I think. Or you guys needed to use the restroom. That's what it was. And
Oh yeah.
so we went and got in
Mhm.
line, and like that was a mess in itself, because the line was at Morocco, and you could see the stage, but you couldn't tell what was going on, because where we got in line, it came off of where they had kind of wrapped the line.
Snaked people, yeah.
like 3 times. And we're like, what is going on here? And there was a lot of people asking questions, if they were in the right line. And we, I asked around to make sure too. And then there was a cast member that was moving food in and out from the food stand from Morocco that was right there. And she goes, what's going on? And somebody asked her about it, and she's like, I've never seen it like this before. And we're all like, are we going to get our seat? And I know that ticket that we had said guaranteed seating. So I knew we were
Mhm.
getting in there at some point. But I think what it shows is, John Stamos is a very popular narrator. I'm sure Neil Patrick Harris had the same thing his first night, or maybe all nights, because he's really popular, where the line was just that long. And we did get our seat. It was more in the back. I didn't really care where that seat was, because the show was just incredible.
I think that the cast members could have done better at like having people like scooch a little closer to each other, that they could fit more people in there. And I'm also kind of curious if they were letting people from the standby line like in simultaneously, because once like we sat, I feel like there was no extra people trying to get in. So I don't know if they just turned all of those people away.
I almost feel like we were the last ones to get
Yeah.
in, because we were like filling holes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree with that. We were pretty
Yeah.
far back, and we were having trouble finding a good spot without a tree in the way or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we did get into the theater, I did see on the other side of the theater there were people coming in. So you're not losing your seat, but you're kind of at odds with those people trying, battling for a seat at that point. I don't know. Those people have been waiting a couple hours or more. So if a couple of them get in there, I'm not going to complain too loudly. I mean, I got a seat. I was happy.
Yeah, I mean, I was too overall, but I really want to go back and try to get closer. Like,
Yeah.
it was really hard to make out any details of anything for me. I had tall people, and I had a kid with a phone in front of me that had a light on her screen that was driving me nuts, and there were trees to try to look around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think closer would have been nicer. However, let's just talk about the performance that John Stamos gave for us and what the Candlelight Processional was, because just the pageantry of the Candlelight Processional was it was very moving.
It was, yes.
Just kind of like
Right.
how everything happened and like everything that Disney had, and it definitely feels very traditional, like Christmas. Like almost it was pretty churchy, which like I enjoyed, because that's kind of like what Christmas has always been for, like a part of Christmas has always been for me, was like going to church and doing all of that stuff. And then to have the way that John Stamos was presenting everything, and the fact that he got emotional, and the fact that he mentioned that he is a Disney adult and he's kind of like one of us, I found very moving with everything. So and so when I say emotional, I mean like he was getting choked up at certain parts, and part of me was like, is John Stamos just a very good actor, and is he just performing the hell out of this, and like, is this a performance? And part of me kind of thought like maybe that was the case. But then Brian, you mentioned that you watched a couple videos of like other times that he went through it, like in the other days, and that he wasn't that way. So it was very genuine for what he was doing. And it wasn't the first one that he had ever done, but it was the first day. It was the end of the first day of what he did. So it meant a lot to him, obviously. So it was very cool to experience that and see that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like you said at the beginning, he called out Disney fans and Disney adults. What did he say? Stay strong. But then he talked about being there with Bob Saget and some of the feelings he had around losing him, which just further humanized him, I thought. And that was a nice treat to hear that. And then to go through the performance itself, I made a rough estimate. There was at least 150 singers in the yellow robes, plus another 15, I think, from the Voices of Liberty in the green robes with the tree. That's a lot of voices. And that alone I thought was pretty cool. Plus the 50-piece orchestra and a leaping director. I don't know how many times he jumped, but every time they were ending a big fanfare, he would jump. But the one thing during the performance that kind of stuck out was that, John Stamos would look around. He would turn around and look at the performers. He was taking it all in. There was a moment that he went over and he knelt down next to one of the singers that was in a wheelchair. I have no idea what he said, but they shared a moment, and I thought that was really cool. That he was just kind of interacting with people, and then at the end, when he really got choked up, he was really just making a call for peace. The war was kind of still fresh in Israel, and we've been dealing with the Ukraine thing forever, and it was nice to have somebody up there using that platform to say, knock it off, and he really got emotional over that. And then to kind of solidify it, I don't know if you were watching him after he said goodbye. He pulled his phone out and he was trying to take video and pictures and stuff. And the attendant comes along and is like, come on, and he finally realizes, oh, okay. And then he got off the stage quick, but, it was really cool seeing all that. And then to go to your point with the acting, I kind of thought that too a little bit, not in the moment. I got choked up in the moment, and afterwards I was kind of thinking the same thing, and we may even have talked about a little bit afterwards, but I think it was 2 nights later I had somebody on, I think Ron was there or something, and so I went and watched the end of that video to see what it was. And being his last night, his last performance, there wasn't the emotion that was there when we saw him. So I think that, like having all of that emotion that first night, being a Disney adult, being there, doing something like that, I think he related a story about how he never thought he would have been doing something like that when he was a kid. It just, it was just awesome to see all
I
that.
spent the whole thing with tears in my eyes pretty much. It was just really moving. And I think for me, part of it too was I grew up like going to church on Christmas Eve and on Christmas Day. And a lot of times we would go to the midnight mass, and we went to the later show. And that's like kind of what it brought back memories of for me, because for various reasons I won't get into, we don't go to church for Christmas Eve anymore. So it was nice to have that feeling back again that, yes, this is what Christmas really means to me. And I don't know, it was just awesome.
Yeah, and I couldn't sing the praises of it more than I did when we got back. It was just, I loved it. Until we were telling our pastor about it, and she's like, "You got to do what?" And she had no idea. So
Yeah, definitely it draws a big crowd because, like, I mean, we're going to Epcot next month, and what is it called that they have? Like the theater?
Yeah, it's like the Broadway.
Oh, yeah.
Broadway
Yeah,
performance.
just like, it's like something Broadway. Like, I feel like that doesn't draw me as much as like the Candlelight Processional, and even like some of the artists that they have during like Flower and Garden. Like, I mean, there's some heavy hitters, but some people aren't very well known, and I feel like it just doesn't draw a crowd like the Candlelight Processional does.
yeah, it really did draw a crowd that night.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really, really nice way to end that trip. Getting to do that, so that was our highlight for sure.
So, like after that, didn't we kind of make our way to the front of the park?
No, we basically just went into creation shop and
then you guys watched the Packer game.
And then we watched the
on the
Packer game
phone.
walking out.
Oh yes, I remember that. That was a good game too.
But we went back to our resort. We went back to Pop Century. I mobile ordered a pizza on the way, and we sat and ate pizza and watched the Packers beat the Chiefs, and that was fun.
That was a lot of fun, and I feel like maybe and now thinking about it, maybe times like that can be enhanced by staying at a nicer resort. But like really, that was like the most we utilized Pop Century was like ordering that pizza. Actually, I think we got food one other time, or was that just you and me, Kristen?
We ate at the food court.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, thinking about like times like that of like just like getting done with the park, hanging out at the food court, and like watching like the Packer game, or really just like hanging out. I wonder if that would be plussed by staying at a nicer resort or not. But like those are good times where you're just like chilling at Disney at a Disney resort, and you're just there and you're just taking everything in.
Well, it was a good time. We had a lot of fun. I think, one more thank you to you guys for letting us crash the party is very much in order.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah. So thank you for pushing us to come and letting us come.
And this is where Brian announces that they're getting a 3-bedroom suite at the Polynesian on my birthday, and they're going to let us stay there.
I wish so much that we could do that. I do. But yeah, February is going to be here before we know it, and we're all going to be back. So, well, we again want to hear about your Christmas doings, your New Year's party doings. Let us know on Facebook or Instagram. We are at Miles from Main ST. And, or no, we're just Miles from Main Street on those. And our website is www.milesfrommainsT.com. So come on out and join us out there. We want to hear from you. But otherwise, thanks for listening.
But like we always say,
Some live close.
But others don't.
So let's talk about it.
we'll see you next time on Miles from Main Street.